Okay, so here we go. So all these, I want to find the derivative, right? So what's the derivative of sin x plus 1? Yeah, just cosine x. What's the derivative of sin x plus 10? Cosine x again. What's the derivative of sin x plus, that 1, 2, 3, well, it looks like, yeah, cosine x. Hey, don't get mad. So, oh, hype. So to go back, that's called the antiderivative. See, so when we're going this way, that's called derivative. So let me write that down. And when we're going from y prime to y, that's called antiderivative. Cool? So I want you to notice that the derivative of all of them is cosine x. Correct, because all the antiderivatives differ by a random constant. Well, not random, but a different constant. Yeah. So we say that y is equal to sine x, the antiderivative, plus c. So the antiderivative of cosine x is sine x plus c, where c is some, not random, now you got me saying the word random, where c is a constant, some constant. Okay, so then we have this, we have a polynomial, well, just a term, 4x cubed, and I say, what's the antiderivative of 4x cubed? So y equals.
So your x would have to be raised to 4.
Yeah.
So we'd have to multiply. Oh, it'd be x raised to 4.
X raised to the fourth. So the rule is, here's the rule. You add one, we reverse the order. Remember when we're doing power rule, you multiply by the coefficient, and then we subtract one from the exponent? So we reverse it, and we do the, well, I don't want to say the word opposite, but we reverse, and then instead of subtract, we add. And instead of multiply, we divide. So what do I mean? So check it out. It would have worked. Y equals, I'm going to write 4 because I'm just leaving it alone. I add 1 to the exponent, x to the fourth, and then divide by whatever the exponent is, 4. What's 4 divided by 4? 1. So x to the fourth plus c.
Wow.
So let me give you another one, just for kicks. Y prime equals 3x to the 7th. I want y. What is y? So what do I write? No, I write 3x to the 8 divided by 8. And then don't forget the what? Plus c for some constant c. Cool or not cool? Hardest problems? Excuse me. There's a lot of easy ones. I put the two, well, this one's not really hard. It's this one that's tough, but it's just cumbersome because of all the little intricacies. All right. On this one, an object is dropped and hits the ground 3.5 seconds later. From what height in feet was it dropped? Yes, I know you can do this with basic physics, but I want you to do it with calculus. So here's how you do it with calculus. It's really simple. All you need to know, it says feet, so I need to know the acceleration. That's all you got to know. If you're using meters per second, the acceleration due to gravity is 9.8 meters per second squared. The acceleration due to gravity is 32 feet per second squared. Are we still okay? Okay. We're going to say that down is negative and up is positive. Are we still okay? All right. It says an object is dropped and hits the ground at 3.5 seconds later. So let's put what we know. If it's dropped, that means that I have no initial velocity. So write v of 0 equals 0. What is the acceleration due to gravity? So I'm going to write a of t equals, and I'm not going to put 32 feet per second. I'm going to put, what do I put in the front? Negative 32. And I'm not going to put units because I'm about to do an antiderivative. So I need to, what do I want? I want to know how high it goes. So I want x of, I guess, 3.5. Or I guess I should use the letter y because it's vertical motion. Y of 3.5. Equals question mark. And I'm saying that y of 0 is 0. So when I dropped it, I haven't gone anywhere. Because I'm going down, I'm going to get a negative answer. Relax. I know that negative answer means that's the distance total. Are we okay? Okay. I'm going to go from acceleration to velocity. So to do that, I need to take a antiderivative. Cool or not cool? Okay. So I'm going to write v of t equals, I'm doing antiderivative. What's the antiderivative of negative 32? Negative 32. Instead of x, say What's this letter? T. So negative 32t plus c. Are we okay so far? I know that my velocity initial is 0. So that means 0 equals negative 32 times 0 plus c. So from that, I know that c equals 0. So I'm going to write v of t is just negative 32t. I know, maybe you're thinking, man, Chavez, you're just making it complicated. But sometimes it does have an initial velocity. Are we still okay? I haven't done anything crazy, right? I'm trying to get my position on the y-axis. So I need to do another what? Antiderivative. So here we go. I'm going to do another antiderivative. So from there, I'm going to come over here. I'm going to go y of t equals, what's antiderivative of negative 32t? Add 1 to that power and divide by that number. So what is that? Negative 32t squared divided by, no, 2 plus c. What's negative 32 divided by 2? So y of t equals negative 16t squared plus c. And I know that y of 0 is 0. Chav, how do you know that? Because when I dropped it, I should have put it here. When I dropped it, when I dropped it, that's my reference point. I haven't traveled anything. Cool or not cool? All right, so then from there, I know I'm going to put semicolon, c equals 0. But make sure we know why. I don't want you to be a robot. It's 0 because when I dropped it, you hadn't traveled any distance. Cool? Okay, so here we go. Y of 3.5 equals, take your calculator, go negative 16 times 3.5 squared. So I take my calculator, and I'm going to go negative 16, parenthesis, 3.5, close it, squared, enter, and I get that number, negative 196. This is my position on the y-axis of this item because I went down. You're not going to put that the distance is negative 186. You're going to put that the distance is what? Or the height that it was dropped from was 196, just 196. So context, right? What's going on here? Okay. So I'm going to say drop from a height of 196. So I'm going to put dropped from a height of 196 feet. There it is. How do we feel? Cool. All right. No, yes, you would. Yes, you would get this right. Don't say that. You're smart, miss. Believe in yourself. Trust me, because I believe in you. You got this. All right. No, don't. Give this question to Wentz, by the way. I like because I want to see. I mean, I know he'll get it eventually. But it's difficult because they don't tell you the time of when it happens. A falling stone is at a certain instant 120 feet above the ground. That is some position. I do not know where at what time. I'm just going to say this. Should I use the letter Y? Yeah, because it's just going up and down. So I'm going to go a falling stone at some time. So I'm going to put T1, not T, is 120 feet above the ground. 2 seconds later, it's only 40 feet above the ground. Yeah, give this one to Wentz. I want to see how he does it without calculus, which it can be done with formulas. I guess you just got to do a hack. T1 plus 2, and that is only 40 feet above the ground. 40 feet. Are we still okay? Okay. If it was thrown upward with an initial speed of 3 feet per second, oh, that's not much. Okay, it was thrown upward, the initial speed, so that's the initial velocity. So V of 0. Wentz probably writes VI, which is fine. V of 0 is 3 feet per second. This is calculus-based physics right here. From what height was it thrown? So they want to know the initial height. The same question as the one that we got. How do we feel, guys? Okay. All right, so relax. Let's see. Here's what we want. We want to figure out y of 0 equals question mark. This is different from this one. I know on this one we put 3.5 seconds because we knew the time. This time we're going to figure out a time value, and then we're going to figure out what c is. So you'll see. Don't worry. You know what? I'm going to erase this because I might confuse you guys. All right. Let's start with what we know. This is in feet, so I need in feet per second the acceleration. So what do I write first? Acceleration at some time, t, at all times t, equals negative 32 feet per second per second. Are we okay so far? I haven't done anything crazy, guys. All right, now how do I get velocity from acceleration? I take a what? Antiderivative. So I write v of t equals, what's the antiderivative of negative 32? No, you're already thinking of the other one. Negative 32t plus c, don't forget the c. I know that my initial velocity was what? 3 feet. If you want, you can just put c equals 3, but let me show you because later on we're going to want to see these steps. You write it like this. I know that v of 0 equals 3, so I go 3 equals negative 32 times 0 plus c. And from there you get that c equals 3. This c specifically. Are we okay? So I'm going to write it right here, guys. V of t equals negative 32t plus 3. So that's going to give me my velocity at any time. Are we still okay? Okay. I need to find my position equation because my position equation is what tells me my position at any given moment. Yes or no? Okay, so how do I get my position equation from velocity? I take a what? Antiderivative. So I write y of t because it's motion, it's vertical motion, so that's why I write y of t and not x of t. I guess it wouldn't matter if you write x of t, but it's going up and down. So what's antiderivative of negative 32t? Negative 16 t squared plus what's antiderivative of 3? I don't know. 3, what letter am I using? 3t. And then put a plus c. This is what I'm going to look for. You know what? Put a subscript because that's a specific c value. We don't always do that. Sometimes we just say a constant's a constant and it doesn't matter. But this is a specific c value. This is actually what we want. What we want. Think about why we want it. Why do we want it? Because I'm going to find out where I'm at 0. Y of 0 equals question mark. I don't know what that is. But I know y of 1. I know y of t1. Y of t1 was 120, guys. So I'm going to plug in t1. I'm going to set up a system of equation like an algebra 1 or an algebra 2 when you learned about systems. So here we go. Set up a system. So I'm going to put that in there. Set up a system with what we know. With what we know. So if you have 2 unknowns, you better have 2 equations. That's what I'm going to do. I don't know T1 and I don't know C1. So I'm going to plug in T1, guys. Here we go. I'm going to say this. Let's see. What's my... Okay, at T1, I'm at 120. So I'm going to go like this. I'm going to go negative 16, parenthesis T1, close it, squared, plus 3, parenthesis T1. I'm plugging in what I don't know. Plus C1, and all that better equal, at T1, what position am I at? 120. All that better equal 120. It better. Call that equation 1. We need a second equation. Here we go. I know T1 plus 2. I'm at 40 feet. So here we go. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to write equation 2, and I'm going to write negative 16. All I'm doing is plugging in T1 plus 2, guys. T1 plus 2 seconds later, close it, squared. What hit me? Oh, it was my charger. Okay, are we still okay? Plus 3, parenthesis, T1 plus 2, close it, plus that same C1 equals 40. We're just doing algebra. We haven't done anything crazy. Are we still okay? All right. Just expand. How can I say distribute? Negative 16, parenthesis, T1 times T1. T1 squared. Plus T1 times 2. 2T1, but how many of those are you going to have? So 4T1, because you're going to have 2 of those. Plus, what's 2 times 2? 4. Plus, and distribute. 3T1 plus 3 times 2 plus C1 equals 40. All right, let's see. Distribute that negative 16. Negative 16 T1 squared plus 16, 32, 64. So minus Yeah, minus 64t1 minus 64 plus 3t1 plus 6 plus c1 equals 40. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to move the negative 64. Well, I guess first let's add up. Combine like terms. Negative 16t1 squared minus 64t1. And then I do negative 64 plus 6. So that's going to be a minus 4, 5, 6. Minus 58. And I should have combined the 3t1. So let me go ahead and do that. I'm going to erase the 64 and I'm going to put a what? 61. Negative 61 t1. And then that equals, plus c1. Plus c1 equals 40. I don't see any mistakes. Did we combine like terms correctly? Do we have the right signs? Okay. Move this negative 58 to the other side. So negative 16t1 squared minus 61t1 plus c1 equals 58, 68, 78, 88, 98. 98. Are we okay? Okay. I'm going to write equation number 1. I have a system. You can do it however you want. You can use a matrix. I wouldn't use a matrix because I have two unknowns, two equations. But if you want to use a matrix, you can. You can set it up one on top of each other, like delete a variable. That's what I'm going to do, actually, because I think that's the easiest. Here's equation 1. I'm just doing algebra here, guys. I've been doing algebra for the longest time. Equation 1, negative 16t1 squared, it's this one up here, plus 3t1 plus c1 equals 120. Write that down. Equation 2. I'm going to change the polarity because I don't like to say subtract. I'm going to change the polarity of all of them, and I see that the squares are going to cancel and the c1s are going to cancel. So I guess I'm going to solve for t1 first. Well, you have to. You got to solve for that. So here we go. I'm going to change the polarity. Positive 16t1 squared plus 61t1 minus c1 equals negative 98. Did I confuse anyone? All right, here we go. We're almost done, guys. We're almost done. What cancels out? What cancels out? Was that good? And the C1s. All right, combine like terms. Combine. Okay, that's enough. 61 plus 3 is 64T1. What's up, Alvarez? Oh yeah, I switched out the polarity. Oh yeah, you know what? I just annoyed myself. I apologize. I feel like I should delete these notes now.
No.
All right. Negative 64T1 equals, what's the difference between 120 and 98?
Number.
Yeah, what is that? I know it's a number, miss. Come on. All right, how do I get T1 by itself? T1 equals 22 over 64, which equals 11 over 32. So that is the time at which you are 120 feet in the air. We weren't looking for that, though. We're almost done, guys. We are almost done. Do I have space? Yeah, I'm going to plug it into equation 1 because it's the one that has the least amount. So here we go. I'm going to write negative 16 parenthesis 11 over 32 close squared plus 3 parenthesis 11 over 32 close plus C1 equals 120. So I take my calculator. So here we go. Where's my calculator? Parenthesis 11 over 32 close it squared. No, I haven't even taken attendance. 11. So there it is, and I multiply that by 16. So times 16. Boom. So now I got that, and then I'm going to add 3 times 11 times 32. Okay. Plus 3 parenthesis. Oh, hold on. That should have been negative, right? Okay. Let me go ahead and put a negative. Negative second answer plus 3 times 11 over 32. Have I confused anyone? Yeah, we're good. We're good. All right, enter. All right, so there it is. And I'm going to move this to the other side to get C1 by itself, because that's what I want, right? Or no? Okay, so turn it to a positive. How do I do that? Put a negative in front of it. Okay, so what was that number on the outside? 120? 120 minus a negative, or minus that. Why did I do that, guys? Because I wanted to turn it into a positive. Minus a negative is a positive. Yes or no? It's just a hack. It's just a hack. Enter. And there's my answer. Turn it into a fraction to make it look like the answer key. And does the answer key say 7735 over 64? So there it is. That's my answer. C1 equals 7735 over 64. Feet. There it is. That's what I wanted. Why is that what I wanted? Because when I put a 0 in, that's what I get. You just get that C, 7735 over 64 feet. See? When you plug in a 0, all the squares and the times 3 cancel out. Do you guys see that? That's as hard as it gets. It's not going to get any harder than that. And that's it. That's it. We're done. All right, guys. Make an attempt today. The UH quiz 10 rates is due on Spooky Day.
And then the quiz 9 is due today.
Yes.